Omron is a company like no other. It defines expectations because engineers are constantly working on something new. Machines that are attuned to the way people think and move. Therein lies technology that will one day help the future. We automate. Omron.
Because we believe cities are about people. Mori Building.
Mitsui and Company.
Let's go look for Mitsubishi Electric around the world. Singapore. Found it. Jakarta. Yeah! Tokyo. Michigan. Kuala Lumpur. Italy. Mitsubishi Electric.
Welcome to Channel Japan. I'm Maki Arai.
And I'm Makiko Tsuda.
Every week we bring you the freshest information out of Japan right here from a studio in Tokyo.
From the economy to culture and even food, if you want to find out what's happening in Japan right now, this is where you'll find it.
So today we have a report on housewives who have some kind of part-time job. We will introduce what kind of jobs they hold to earn a little extra income.
We visit the home of a woman in Miyagi Prefecture who earns her pin money by working at her hobby.
こんにちは。はい、そうです。
How much does this woman's side job make her?
その時にもよりますが、月にだいたい2万から3万くらいになります。
And what is the hobby that is earning her that money?
こちらになります。皆さん集合してください。おはようございます。おはようございます。
A group of colorfully garbed women are gathered here.
私たち木工女子部です。
Yes, they are the Women's Woodworking Corps. These 7 housewives make up the core of the group.
得意技はペンキ塗りです。ヤスリかけです。
They get together once a week in order to build things. At the home of this woman, who is into DIY. The lumber they use comes from timber from cedar forest thinning, bought cheaply from the local forestry association. When we ask to see what they are working on, we are led deep into the workshop. She boldly begins cutting pieces of lumber with an electric saw. She says she will use the 12 pieces of wood to fashion a very popular household item. She uses wood glue and an electric screwdriver to put together
いいチェアです。
This group of women builds furniture made to order. Their handmade pieces began to garner so much attention that they decided to start an online store. Some of their more popular items have begun to sell out. The most popular item is the mini chair. They have sold nearly 200 of them. Their popularity lies in the unusual finishing process. This woman begins scorching the chair with a burner.
杉独特の木目をきれいに仕上げる工程で、焼きに入って焼きすぎで仕上げます。
After scorching the surface, she washes off the charring, lets it dry, and applies wax to the wood. She says it makes the wood grains stand out. These chairs have more uses than just as seats for the little ones. They can be used as ornamental stands for potted plants, or as footstools for reaching high places. There are many uses for this little chair.
作る楽しさっていうところが自分の中にもう植え付けられてるので、やってやろうじゃないかっていうところだと思います。
She started the Women's Carpentry Corps to enjoy some pleasure with her builder friends. Fortunately, it led them to earning some money. And what does she want to do with the money?
家族のためにしたいですね。温泉に行きたいですね。
There are women in Tokyo too earning money through their hobbies. How much does this wife and mother of two make on the side?
月2、3万です。
Other housewives arrive at her home. She teaches an art that is very popular now. Her ingredients are common in confectionery making. Powdered sugar and powdered meringue mixed with water into a creamy texture. She mixes in some dark cocoa powder to create a black cream. She then adds powdered green tea, pumpkin, and other ingredients to create 5 colorful creams. She pours the cream into rolled up cellophane tubes and
少し持ち上げながらぐーっとクッキーの5ミリ内側を
she spreads pumpkin cream over the surface and uses the black cocoa cream to draw a face.
Icing クッキーを教えています。
Icing is a sweet, creamy paste that is spread over baked cookies. This woman has received a certificate to teach iced cookie making. She invites other wives into her home to learn how to make them. They create some complex designs with icing.
じゃあ馴染み模様黒で
The design effect on the wings of this bat is called marbling. There are 51 other tricks used in icing cookies.
作ってるうちで本当楽しくなってもっと作りたくなりますね、もうすぐ子供が1分ぐらいで食べちゃう
This woman, who has always loved confectionery making, has created many original designs. Instead of a cake, she bakes her kids iced birthday cookies.
子供が帰ってきた時におかえりって言ってあげれる環境でいたかったんですね、自分が。やっぱり家族の協力なしでは家で教室することは無理なので、家族でこう旅行に行ったりそういったことに使いたいなと思いますけれど、はい。
This woman watching kickboxers practice in a gym also has a side job. Her husband, a former world champion, still boxes professionally. She works out of their home. And how much does she make at this job that she says grew out of her love for her husband?
月100万円です。
100万円。
はい。
Her kickboxer husband gives her his support by doing the dishes. Let's watch her at work. She cuts out a pattern from this gaudy fabric and begins sewing on a sewing machine. She then uses a special printer for lettering that she cuts out and irons onto the fabric. What exactly is her job?
オーダーメイドの格闘技の衣装屋です。
She hand makes martial arts costumes and earns $10,000 a month. She makes mostly trunks, but she also sews robes worn by the players as they enter the ring. She has even made some professional wrestlers' masks. It all began 8 years ago at a match just before her husband's birthday.
プレゼントしたくて、でオーダーするお店に行ったんですけど、その時のアルバイトの給料じゃ買えない額で、だったらミシン触ったことあるから作ってみようかなっていうところから作り始めたきっかけです。
These are the trunks that she gave him that year. As for the result of that match,
一覧の手を出しです。
he fought his way to world champion wearing the costumes his wife had sewn for him. Her popularity as a seamstress has grown by word of mouth. Living on his winnings was not easy, so 4 years ago, in order to help her husband, she decided to make sewing martial arts costumes her job.
谷さんのところで作ってもらってから今10勝1敗とかで、これで世界ベルト取れたんですごい縁起がいいですね。はい。
And now, her training gear for kids is very popular. She even gets orders like these.
女子選手の子が結婚することになりまして、お母様の着てた着物をリメイクして、はい、ドレスを作らせてもらってます。
She takes into account what the boxers want and tries to create something that goes above and beyond.
作りがいがあるし、幸せですね。
After retirement, this woman used her experience to earn a little pin money. How much does she make?
月平均の売り上げで10万ぐらいです。
And what does she do? The women are sewing something. What are they making?
今日はガマ口を、作っていただいてます。
This woman was an elementary school teacher. She had always loved handicrafts. So, when she retired, she decided to hold classes to teach purse making.
コットン、綿の生地ですね。そういった生地を使って間に芯を挟んで表と裏の生地を入れて、それでこの間に挟み込む形で作ってます。
A metal snap frame is usually used to make purses, but she also makes other items using it.
この口金っていうんですけど、この口金のサイズさえあれば小さいものから大きなものまで作ります。
Not only does she teach classes in person, she has even created online classes on purse making. Students can learn how to make 6 kinds of purses, from family seal holders to unusually shaped pouches. The cost? $660.
多分元教師だったから、テキスト作りますとか カリキュラム作りますとかっていうところも割と早くクリアできて、それをこう収入につなげることには役に立ったと思います。
And that's it for Channel Japan Ranking. After the break, we'll be showing a documentary program. Stay tuned.
The Sport Truck. New Mitsubishi Triton.
Drive at Earth Mitsubishi Motors.
Let's enjoy Japan.
Wonderful.
I knew you'd like this.
You know me so well. Where to next?
Golf,
Wonderful.
Japanese garden,
That's wonderful too.
onsen with a Fujisan view.
Wonderful.
Let's go then.
いらっしゃいませ。
Wonderful.
Incredible.
Smiles ahead. Seibu Group.
Tomorrow never ends with you. With you. When the morning falls, we there so long. Well, I know we'll never.
For life's greatest moments. Bridgestone.
You're watching Channel Japan. In our next segment, we'll introduce some of our popular documentary programs. Today from Japanese Dream by TBS, we will introduce a researcher who studies taste.
Until now, in order to recreate the same taste of dishes, you would have had to refer to a recipe or had to conduct the analysis of ingredients. However, as even the slightest amount makes a big difference, creating the same taste is extremely difficult. Kiyoshi Toko, a graduate school professor at Kyushu University, takes on the challenge with a new approach. He is working on research in recreating not the actual flavor of the food itself, but how the tongue tastes it. He developed a taste sensor using a man-made tongue which can express different tastes in a numerical form. He now made it possible to faithfully recreate any kind of flavor.
みんなが食品おいしいものを食べるとニコッと笑う。まさしくみんなが幸せにできる。僕は絶対人を不幸にする可能性があるような研究は絶対しない。意地でもしない。
Toko's dream is to retain a taste that evoked the feeling of happiness among people for dozens and hundreds of years.
I have a dream.
Kyushu University in Fukuoka Prefecture. Dream maker Toko showed us the taste sensor that he developed. Only the taste of liquids can be measured. Therefore, foods need to be liquidized before it is placed in the sensor. With just this, he says it's possible to know what the human tongue tastes. But how?
これからとっても面白いことを味覚センサーを使って行いたいと思います。
They begin an experiment that reveals the mystery of the human sense of taste. 18 grams of chopped yellow pickled radishes are put into 180 milliliters of milk. Which is then warmed for about 10 minutes. The result is a strange-looking liquid. Blindfolded students are asked to try it. What does it taste like? This student tells us Another student says Why is this?
味には5つの基本味があるので、その基本の味さえ満足する形で材料を集めれば同じものは作れます。ということで味覚センサーを証明しているんですね。
When this yellow pickled radish and milk soup is measured with the taste sensor, the pentagon graph is presented like this. This graph shows the balance of flavor for corn potage soup. When comparing the two, they are very similar. As a result, by using the taste sensor, similar flavors of dishes can be recreated without using the same ingredients. There have been cases where many researchers have tried to work out the quantification of taste but had not succeeded in doing so. For example, researchers attempted to work out the quantification of the taste of coffee by trying to measure the caffeine content and the amount of chemicals that are included in it. However, as with other foods, there are hundreds of chemicals in coffee. It is practically impossible to take exact measurements. Toko, on the other hand, focused on not the substances of food, but the human tongue's sense of taste. On the surface of a human's tongue are structures called biological membranes, of where there are acceptors which catch and distinguish different tastes. When you eat something, this biological membrane sends an electronic signal to the brain, and we sense taste. Toko has been researching into this biological membrane for many years and succeeded in developing a machine that can replicate that physiology. As it were, he created a prototype, which is the taste sensor, a detailed man-made tongue.
みんなが食品おいしいものを食べるとニコッと笑う。まさしくみんなが幸せにできる。どういう人も幸せにできる。僕は絶対人を不幸にする可能性があるような研究は絶対しない。意地でもしない。
One day, a Japanese shochu spirit sales company from Kagoshima Prefecture came to Toko.
今日せっかくだからパリへ行く時の格好で来ました。
They were aspiring to sell their shochu in France that has been developed using the taste sensor.
これが味覚センサーの分析。
分析です。
It was a shochu that was made to taste like champagne. As it doesn't include carbon dioxide, its sourness is rather different, but otherwise it is very similar. We take a peek at Europeans who are used to drinking champagne try it at a restaurant.
Cheers. Yeah. Cheers.
I think I personally prefer this one to French champagne, but this one fits perfectly with food too.
これが一番飲み物なんです。
The champagne-like shochu. Toko had not even imagined that his taste sensor could have been used in this way. New research has now begun in the quantification of tasting something delicious, which occurs through the human's 5 senses. Humans use all 5 senses of taste, sight, smell, touch, and hearing for the enjoyment of food. Toko is trying to make a new standard of deliciousness by putting together the techniques of quantification. The first challenge is harmonizing the senses of taste and sight. 15 tomatoes that were harvested at different times were prepared. In terms of sight, you can see how the greenness of the tomatoes turns red as days go by. "20 people were asked to line up the tomatoes in order according to how delicious they looked. The results were more people thought that tomatoes from 3 and 5 days after harvesting looked more delicious. Next, using the taste sensor, the sourness and flavor of the tomatoes were measured. What were the results?
トマトの美味しさもしくは美味しそうといったこと側に関して関係があるのは酸味と旨味とそれから視覚情報としての赤色が重要ということが分かりました。
In terms of sight, tomatoes that are left 3 to 5 days after harvest looked the most delicious. People have the memory of enjoying the taste of a tomato that appealed to their sight. Due to this, the balance of the sourness and umami flavor of the tomatoes of that time are likely to taste more appealing. In the future, it may become possible to analyze the most suitable times for when certain farm produce should be harvested and shipped.
音楽の中での楽譜に相当する食品の、そういった譜面ができる。お袋の味や秘伝の味や伝統の味を食譜があれば後世に刻むことができるし。
Thanks to the taste sensor, a champagne like shochu was born.
言葉も話せない私がですね、なんでいけたかっていうと、それは味覚センサーでちゃんと味を分析していただいて、自分で感じる味覚の世界が客観的に後押しをしていただいた。それが僕に勇気を与えました。いかがですか。よかったです。ここまで普及してくれているとよかったです。本当に嬉しいです。いや本当僕なんか何もしてないんですよ。何もしてない僕なんか。僕は一体何をした。彼らがやったんですよ。本当に俺言いたい。
Professor Toko in the video calls the flavors he verified with a taste sensor of virtual flavors, and he says he discovered other examples, which we have a few over here. So milk with vinegar tastes like yogurt, and custard pudding with soy sauce tastes like sea urchin, and cucumber with honey tastes like melon.
No. Well, but as more virtual flavors are discovered, perhaps new products that allow people to enjoy the process of combining different flavors will be made.
That's true.
And after the break, we'll be showing you an episode from a popular economics program, Gatsuri Monday. Don't go away.
The World Assembly for Women 2014, held under Prime Minister Shinzo Abe's initiative to create a society in which women shine. An international conference to discuss policies for the empowerment of women.
I am determined to make the 21st century a world with no human rights violations against women. WOW is one step towards making that pledge a reality.
We are glad, as the Prime Minister indicated, that we are going to have a home in Tokyo.
More than 100 panelists from 24 countries and 6 international organizations discussed measures to promote the role of women in society. Foreign Minister Fumio Kishida, who chaired the roundtable, issued a final proposal.
WOW will be held again next year. Now is the time for Japan and the world to take serious action.
World Assembly for Women in Tokyo 2014.
You're watching Channel Japan. Next, we'll show you an episode from a popular Japanese economics program, Gatsuri Monday by TBS. So, we will introduce what kind of local sports are heating up in the various regions.
Our first stop is Utsunomiya City in Tochigi Prefecture. We asked pedestrians what the most popular sport is here. We went to watch one of the games. The venue was alive with many spectators. 20 minutes before the game started, the seats were almost all full. This is the Link Tochigi Brex team of NBL, Japan's professional basketball league. Today is a preseason game against a team from Niigata. The spectators are super excited to see their popular players in action.
ぶっちゃけ昨年の売り上げどれぐらいいったんですか？5億6000万ですね。それってすごい。そうですね。バスケットの中でいくと一番売り上げ的にはあるかなというふうに思うんですけれども。
There are less spectator seats for basketball games compared to baseball or soccer. So, how is it profitable?
抱える選手の量というのも、サッカー野球に比べるとだいぶ少ないと、非常にコンパクトに運営ができるといえばバスケットの特色ではないかなと思います。
Basketball only requires 5 players from each team, while baseball takes 9 players and soccer uses 11 players. The number of players in one team is much lower. For example, a soccer team usually has about 40 players. But this basketball team only has 12 players. Having fewer players means less money has to be paid to the athletes, and the cost for transportation and hotels is less. Furthermore, basketball requires much less space for practice and for the games compared to other sports. All that is needed is a simple gymnasium, so the overall cost is rather inexpensive. In other words, as long as there's a certain number of spectators, basketball is a profitable sport. Plus, this team attracts a lot of fans. The average number of spectators easily exceeds 2,000 for each game. The team draws the highest attendance out of the 12 teams in the Japanese Professional Basketball League. Here's how they attract so many fans. They say one secret can be found at an elementary school's gym, so we went to take a look. During their gym class, the children play basketball. They are being coached by former professional players.
選手もやります。もちろんやります。
じゃあ結構高いお金を取ってるんですか？
これは無料でやってますので。
Ever since this team was founded 7 years ago, they have advertised their basketball coaching sessions to elementary and middle schools throughout Tochigi Prefecture. The coaches will go to any school that sends a request and coach for free. And the number of coaching sessions exceeds 250 a year. They are professionals, so their coaching methods are at a professional level. They also entertain the children by showing off their skills with three-point shots and dunks. They are steadily increasing the number of fans among the children. There is another place where children practice basketball outside of school. This is a children's basketball school run by the team. There are 8 of these schools within Tochigi Prefecture, with a total of about 380 students. The monthly lesson fees from this school becomes a part of the team's income. But their biggest aim is to increase the popularity of basketball in Japan. When children become basketball fans, they attract their parents and even grandparents to the games. As a result, basketball has become a popular and profitable sport in Tochigi Prefecture. Next, we visited a shopping mall in Okinawa Prefecture. A very strange masked man is waving at us. We asked what sport is popular here. This wrestler founded the Ryukyu Dragon Professional Wrestling Group. The wrestlers are in the middle of their training in the ring. There's a total of 9 wrestlers in this professional wrestling group, including a woman. The group only performs in Okinawa Prefecture. They hold about 2 matches a week, mostly in shopping malls. A ticket to their shows costs $20. Even the woman wrestler fights the male wrestlers.
よく来るんですか？週に1回ぐらいは行くように頑張ってるんですけどね。
大体毎週。
毎週。
楽しいし元気がもらえるので。
あ、元気がもらえる。
はい、行きま
ーす。Here's why they only work in Okinawa Prefecture.
沖縄はなかなか娯楽が他にもあまりないので。
娯楽はないんですか？
あまりないですね。
Although one may think that Okinawa has many tourist sites and places for leisure, there is actually very little entertainment for the local population. Not even a single amusement park. That's why this group gets requests from all over Okinawa to have wrestling matches. They go to local elementary schools, town shopping malls, and even local festivals. On this day, they were invited to perform at the U.S. military base. The venue is full. The Americans seem to thoroughly enjoy the show. On weekdays, when they don't have any shows, they make plans at meetings.
Ryukyu Dragon Supporter カーステッカー。
あ、カーステッカー。あ
back of car.
あ。ああ、いいね。うん、それいいな。手はいるんだけど。
They are discussing ideas for merchandise to sell at venues. Another activity the wrestlers do by themselves is sewing the wrestling masks. They make masks, and fans pay about $300 for one mask.
そうですね。子供の時にマスクを親に買ってくれって言ったら作りなさいって言われたんですよ。
There are very few mask craftsmen in Japan, so he even receives orders from other wrestling groups too. They even make custom-made masks for children.
本当にプロレスが大好きだし、家族みんなでその話ができるからとっても楽しい。
Next, we went to Ibaraki Prefecture.
日立市だけで盛り上がってるスポーツがあるって聞いたんですけど、知ってます？
パンポンですか？
パンポン。
はい。みんな結構知ってると思います。
知ってる。
はい。
パンポンでしょ？
パンポン。パンポンって。
卓球みたいなテニスみたいので、パンポンっていうのがあるのね。
We found some workers outside. They were holding a wooden board and using it to hit a softball back and forth. The court is quite small.
これがパンポンです。パンポンです。
Panpong is a regional sport from Hitachi City in Ibaraki Prefecture. The name comes from the sound the ball makes, pan, when it hits the racket, and pong when it hits the ground. One game is made up of 3 sets of 4-point games. The rules are basically like tennis, and one match only takes 10 minutes. So, it's a popular sport during lunch break at workplaces. Panpong has a surprisingly long history. He began at a factory in this area about 100 years ago.
昼休みの時間キャッチボールが流行ってたらしいんですよ。で、その時にどうしてもそのガラスを割ってしまうと、工場の建屋の。
This sport was thought up as an alternative pastime. It provides a great way for the workers to interact with each other. It is even played in gym classes in elementary and middle schools. At Hitachi City, Panpong is enjoyed from childhood. So the gymnasium floors include the court lines for the game.
パンポンって日立市でしかやってないって知ってた？初めて知りました。初めて知った。普通の国技だと思ってました。国技だと思ってた。
This city also has a tournament once a year, which has already been held 35 times. Panpong can be played by all, from children to the elderly. It is also a very affordable sport because it only requires a handmade board and a ball that costs about $1. Next, we went to a park in Hokkaido. We saw people playing a sport in the pouring rain.
これは持ってるのはこれゴルフじゃないんですか？
違いないんです。パークゴルフのクラブです。
パークゴルフのクラブ。はい。あ、これはゴルフクラブと似てますけど違うんですか？
違います。一本で全部やり
ます。一本だけなんですか？
はい、一本です。
Hokkaido's popular regional sport is called park golf, or park for short. There are 850 park golf courses in Hokkaido. That's 5 times more than the number of golf courses. Over 1 million people play the sport. It is popular among all ages, young and old.
Oh.
The rules are basically the same as golf. The difference is that it is played with a single club and a ball about the size of a tennis ball. The distance to the hole is 100 meters or less, and all 18 holes can be played in about an hour.
おいくつですか
76歳。
76歳
こういう若い人と一緒になってね、対等に遊べる。
腰曲がっててもやってる人いますから。
あ、そんなに
The founder of Park Golf is now the honorary advisor of the Nippon Park Golf Association.
ゴルフって素晴らしいんですよ。素晴らしいんですけども、やはりあれには日常的ではない部分がありますよね。時間がかかる。あるいはお金がかかると。
This man used to be a member of Hokkaido School Board. He came up with park golf over 30 years ago as an everyday sport that takes less time and money than golf. After promoting the sport with his co-workers, it spread all around Hokkaido. Now there are special products made for park golf.
何ですかそれ
ボール拾いやと腰痛いから。
は
This device for picking up balls is called the ball catcher.
便利ですねこれ
There are also numerous sporting goods shops in Hokkaido that specialize in park golf products. Not only do they sell specialty sportswear and clubs, they even have waist pouches with a ball holder. They have a driving range just for park golf.
特に北海道冬場が思いっきり打てるとこがないもんですからもう開店前から場所取りでちょっと並ばれたり
When deep snow covers Hokkaido, the indoor driving range becomes popular. Park golf is spreading outside of Hokkaido to other parts of Japan. There are now over 1,300 park golf courses. Here's why the number is growing so quickly. We asked the company who makes park golf courses.
四角い土地がいらないんです。三角でもいいですし、鉄道の隙間でも、こう U 字型でも、いわゆる回遊式、行って歩いて散策しながら。ですからここに暴露上の柔軟性がございます。
There is not a set shape for a park golf course. Plus, courses can even use bumpy terrain to their advantage. So anywhere there's an open lot, a park golf course can be made. Ski resorts that were only used in winter are now being used as park golf courses in other seasons. Costing a maximum of only $5 per round, with many courses available for free, the number of players is increasing.
So, are there any other interesting local sports besides the ones introduced in the video?
Yes, there are. Just to show you a few examples, there's an event called the Showa Shinzan International Yukigassen, which is a snowball fight tournament hosted in Hokkaido, and it's an annual tournament which has a history of 27 years. Another one, a unique tug-of-war game, is held annually on the borders of Nagano and Shizuoka prefectures, and each team represents their prefecture, and the winner gets to advance the borderline to the loser's side by 1 meter. And there's another unique competition held in Nara. We have a picture over here, which is related to the famous deer of Nara Park. I'm sure you know you can actually feed the deer with deer crackers, but a larger deer cracker that's 20 centimeters in diameter, so they're pretty large, are made for this competition, and the contenders throw the deer crackers like flying discs and compete for the farthest distance. And the winners can record a throw of more than 50 meters.
So let's hope there will be more successful examples of these local sports which entertain the local people and revitalize the local economy.
Welcome to Tokyo Skytree. This is the grand panoramic view from 450 meters. Here you experience the unforgettable. Look, enjoy, be amazed, and be awestruck. That's what Tokyo Skytree is all about.
Japan's latest landmark.
Tokyo Skytree.
Man, look at all these cars.
Hey, have you heard, by the way? The Japanese company Kobelco is working to make the world's cars lighter.
So what does that mean?
Kobelco is using aluminum and steel technologies to make car parts and bodies lighter around the world.
Ah, Japanese technology. The country of karate. Ha! Ha! Ha!
Why do we always do that? I don't know.
The talk of the world. Kobelco. We do our jobs with sincerity and integrity to make a better living environment for the people and our society. Today's work, tomorrow's heritage. Shimizu Corporation.
Channel Japan, your source for the voices and views of people and businesses across Japan. The latest reports on Japanese companies, culture, and technology. Find out what's happening on the ground. Every week, direct from Tokyo, Channel Japan.
We hope you enjoyed today's show. And that's it for this edition of Channel Japan. There will be more on the latest information from Japan, so join us again next time.
Omron is a company like no other. It defines expectations because engineers are constantly working on something new. Machines that are attuned to the way people think and move. Therein lies technology that will one day help the future. We automate. Omron.
Because we believe cities are about people. Mori Building.
Mitsui & Company.